Testing, testing.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. How you doing? Are you? We're still figuring out some live stream stuff, just audio, but we're almost there. Okay.
Give me the
I got you.
32.
Yeah.
We're on.
You know, what was weird is I've a few times had to give interviews. Yeah. Oh, it's like senior sound that too. Yeah.
It's on. Oh, all you have to do is
Good morning. And welcome to the 7th annual Optimist International Oratorical World Championship Regional Awards Ceremony. Now, I know that a lot of you want to know who won each region, but first we want to do a few things. We want to celebrate all of our contestants. For those watching at home, and everybody here knows that each and every one of our contestants is already a champion. They have already won at a district level. They've already received $2,500 scholarship from either the Optimist International Foundation or the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation. And so today we will be announcing the regional winners, and we will then move on to the finals for the World Championship. But before we do any of that, we want to meet all of our contestants again. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you the game plan up front because we're going to have a lot of people up here. After I introduce President Patsy and President Mark to come forward and make a couple remarks, I'm going to call up each region by your speaking. Come up and line up in speaking order if you would. It would make it easier. So when Cheryl hands out the certificates, to get the certificate to the right person. If we accidentally give you the wrong persons, you can trade among yourself, or if you want to just trade your certificate or have people autograph, you can do that. But the main thing is you'll want to get a regional picture, and that's a good time as long as they don't get in front of our camera for mom and dad to take a picture too. But we'll be taking pictures. Don't get in front of Josh. Let's give Josh a round of applause. He does so much of this stuff. And I know she's in the back room, but Amy Keller does all of this stuff, and give her a round of applause. And just like we talked about yesterday, all the parents and coaches and supporters, yeah, it's the contestants that's on the stage, just like some of us are on the stage, but it's the people behind the scenes that make all the difference. So let's give all our supporters a round of applause. So after we do the region picture, I'm going to have each region just step over here, but the contestants stay up here because then we're going to take a group picture of all the contestants, which is kind of fun. So you can have your certificates, and we haven't got to do that the last couple of years. So that's always a fun thing when we're in person, is to have a group picture, and we'll make sure we get that out to all of you. So without further delay, I would like to introduce the president of Optimist International, Patsy Gardner.
I'll just take yours. Good morning. Happy Optimist Friday. It is Friday, right? Yes. Yes. A wonderful day. You know, there were some amazing speeches yesterday. I told you yesterday that there was this optimistic energy that was in this room yesterday, and we were having dinner last night, and we were sitting just discussing that spirit that those that have been physically live at this competition over the past 7 years, excluding last 2 years, they said that this was probably the highest spirited group that they have ever seen. And we don't know if it's because you've been locked up for a couple of years, you know, whatever the case may be, and now you're so happy to be out. And it came through in your speeches. It really did. I'm always amazed that when we hold this contest, that you take one topic, and that one topic brings such diverse opinions and thoughts, and how you used that topic to address our challenging worlds through your personal experiences, your life experiences. That is something that us as optimists, we will always forever be remembered from. And I want you to know that many of you, I will be using some excerpts from some of your speeches as I try to motivate our team going through the end of the year, and promote optimism as well, because you are our future, and you are who we are, and you are who we represent. So I thank you on behalf of Optimist International for being here, and I wish you the best of luck. Keep in mind, guys, as I said yesterday, have fun. Keep in mind that there were thousands of students that participated, and only you ended up in this room. So take that with you, and don't forget to put this on your college resume. Optimist District. You are a District Optimist International World Scholarship winner. So don't forget to put that on. We wish you all luck as you go through this next level. And thank you very much.
Thank you, President Patsy. And I know when I lock people up in my business, they're very excited to get out. So I hope you are all happy to be on release status. So we're glad you're here. And it's also good to quote all of these fine contestants. Just we don't want to plagiarize, therefore we give credit, right? If we cite anyone. So make sure we do that. Now I'd like you to once again meet the president of the Optimist International Foundation from Michigan. He's got his Michigan colors on this morning. Mark Katz.
Thanks, Dave. You know, yesterday was just an amazing day, and just sitting here listening to all of you just inspired me so much. And there's times that I sometimes think about the future of our country and our world and where it's going. And after hearing all of you yesterday, I know that we're in good hands, that all of you are going to become the leaders that we need to really move us forward in the future. But again, the foundations are both the U.S. Foundation and the Canadian Foundation are happy to be able to support the Oratorical and support the scholarship program. And I just look forward to hearing everybody today, and best wishes to everybody.
Thank you, Mark. I would ask if our executive director, Cheryl Bren, will come forward, and she's going to help us hand out the certificates. And as I indicated, I'll call you up in the order of the region that you spoke yesterday. And if you'll come up, get your certificate, and then pose for a picture here with our two presidents. And we should remember Diane Jocelyn, you'll see a video later from her. She's the president of the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation that also is a proud sponsor of the Oratorical contest. So first, if we have the Northeast and Great Lakes region come forward. And if to make it easier, I think you are come in your speaking order, line up in the speaking order, just so you'll help get the right certificate there. We're not going to announce your names like graduation right now. We could play pomp and circumstance this. Yeah. That's nice. Well, let's give the champions from the Northeast and Great Lakes region a round of applause. And if you all could step over here, because like I said, we're going to do a team picture. And now, congratulations. The Great Plains region, if you'll come forward, congratulations. Very good. Let's give our champions from the Great Plains region a round of applause. I forgot to do my nails. Way to go. Okay. So let's have the Mid-Atlantic region come up for us, please. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, we need music, some an interlude here. Let's give our champions from the Mid-Atlantic region a round of applause. Hey there. Good job, man. Good job. Yeah. There is hand sanitizer in the house. Okay. And now if we can have the Southeast region come forward, please. Photo op. You get a photo op. You might have to slide down. You got a little bigger group here. So Mark, speak this way. There you go. Hey, let's give our Southeast champions a round of applause. Great job, great job, great job. And now let's have our Southwest region come forward, please. Let's give our champions from the Southwest region a round of applause. Congratulations. Congratulations. And if we can have the Middle America region come forward. If nothing else, this is good to test your memory of your speaking order yesterday. You guys look great over there. You clean up well. Okay, let's give our champions from the Middle America region a round of applause. Way to go. Way to go. I was going to say Rock Chalk, but you're going to K-State. Rocks. Congratulations. We could have the West Coast region come forward, please. Let's give our West Coast champions a round of applause. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. Oh, you blew it up. There you go. Yeah. Now, there are two more regions that you probably haven't seen if you're here in the house, but hopefully those live streaming have seen. We have the Optimist Francophone Canada region, and we have the global region. So let's give them a big round of applause as well. And I know I would mess it up, but I'm going to try here, or maybe I'll ask Diana when you speak. Can you just tell us all the countries that have participated? I believe I counted 8 countries participated in the regional contest. So I think that's fantastic. So now, why don't we have this fine looking group, and you two step aside, we're going to need you more. And I want all of you to come up on the stage and we're going to get a group picture of everybody. So you're going to have a little fun with it on who's going to have to be in front, who's in the back. We want to make sure we see all your smiling faces. Scoot a little bit to your left when he removes that. So everybody go down, you know, everybody's going to have to step together like a marching band. There you go. But stop at the wall. Is that good, Josh? Are they centered? Whatever you do, look at Josh's camera because you can't look at all of these cameras. This looks like a press conference. Oh, fill in. Somebody fill in. Can you see everybody's faces back there, Josh? Make sure your face, you can see Josh so he can see you. Yeah, just look at Josh. Yeah, take a couple, make sure everybody's eyes are open. I think they are. They all look bright-eyed. Yeah. Don't breathe, don't blink. Does that look good, Josh? Don't leave yet, though, because Josh is going to take one more. Now a fun one. Do whatever you want to do. Josh, take it. Come on, guys, do something. Let's be a little crazy out there. Yeah, wait a second. President Patsy wants to get in here. Well, no, you're going to get in on the fun one, aren't you? Yeah, get in the front. Yeah. At least Patsy won't block anybody's view, I don't think. Marvelous, marvelous. Well, thank you all. You can return to your seats. Good job, everybody. That was good. Well, we're gonna need the truth.
Are you just
Why don't we have one of you trophy first? Then you can check it. Now, some of you probably want to know the results from yesterday. Does anybody want to know that? Well, why don't we take a half-hour break? No, we'll go ahead and We'll go ahead and do it now. So I would like to and give them a big round of applause for all their work, to introduce our co-directors, Dr. Diana Carlin Perrin and Dr. Sunny Fridge, who will be announcing the results.
All right, I'm not going to take too long, but Dave did ask that I tell you what countries have been represented. We've had over 81 contestants this week for this contest. And before that, like Patsy said, thousands from the club, zone, and district levels. So of course, the US, Canada, and Jamaica was our Caribbean representative this year. In our global region, we had students from South Korea, Hong Kong, Pakistan, Haiti, and Nepal. And Nepal was the first time. So quite a diverse group of students. So you want to hear, and one other group we haven't thanked were our judges. Some of them may be watching. I would not want to be them. I've done this for 7 years, and I agree that this was probably the most spirited, enthusiastic, incredible group of speeches that I've heard in 7 years. So I want to congratulate you, as does Sunny. And believe me, the judges had no easy round. So for the winners. In the Northeast and Great Lakes region, Speaker A, Miriam El-Sabawi. You want to come forward? We'll get a picture of each of the regional winners. And then if you would stay up here, please, we're going to draw for speaking order. Then we're going to take a 5-minute break to get you over here, get organized. All right, we'll get the picture taken as soon as they're finished. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. Here's fun. Congratulations.
Okay. These photos will be personalized.
No, the
and
trophy.
the
The trophy.
The trophy,
Yeah.
the trophies will be personalized and mailed to you. All right, we just found out Speaker A. It's time now for Great Plains. Speaker C, Zafina Zaman.
Over there.
She's so proud.
Okay. Okay, and you can, congratulations, you can just step over here. From the Mid-Atlantic region, Speaker E, Mukta Dharmapurakar. Our first speaker was from Canada, Manitoba. I'm sorry. We'll redo it, Dave. We'll redo it.
Okay.
We gave you the wrong check. We needed to make sure the Canadian winner for Manitoba gets the Canadian Children's Foundation. So.
Southeast, Speaker F, Samishka Garwar.
From the Southwest region, speaker B as in boy, Adeline Anderson.
Middle America, speaker A. Abigail Richner.
And from the West Coast region, speaker C, Amrutha Chawla.
Optimist Francophone Canada, Maeva Giroux. Virtual. Congratulations.
That was a virtual contest. And from the global region, Rin Choi from South Korea. Should we redo the one photo so we get the right check? We want the Canadian check. So if speaker, if you want to go up, they'll retake your photo with the right check. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, two of you from
Yes.
Canada. All right. No, one time.
Congratulations.
And congratulations to all of you. We will do the drawing as soon as they finish the photographs. And then we'll take a little 5-minute break to get everybody organized, and then we will be ready to go.
Okay. The famous. Congratulations.
I also want to thank all of the Optimist members who are here who served as Sergeant at Arms for us. So they kept anyone from interrupting your speeches. So let's thank them. All right, we will draw over here and we'll be ready in about 5 minutes.
Okay, let's give all of these regional champions a round of applause. And let's give all our contestants a round of applause. Fantastic job. I imagine it'll be about 15 minutes. We would encourage everyone to stay to see the finals, and we just appreciate all that you do. Stay in speech, and as they used to tell me, stay in school. Thank you all.
To make sure that you can help Mike up. Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Yeah.
Great job.
Well, I mean, the airport gave him. He didn't know. But anyway, he put a phone number. Okay.
That'd be a nice, no, that didn't work. Okay, try again.
Good morning. Test. 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 Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Speaker A, test. I don't think so.
Joe. We need to get that.
Down to all the clubs.
She's got a more macho job.
Good morning, Speaker A. Test.
So, you know. I've got 3 grandchildren, all granddaughters.
Good morning, Speaker A. Test.
Well, we want to change that.
Try again.
Good morning, Speaker A. Test.
Yeah, we are trying to get.
Down like an extra inch. So that way it's super loud. Okay. That one is. Maybe.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I got speaker right here. Wait. We gotta check the judges. Oh, check, yeah, go ahead. There, yes. Okay, are you saying Judge 1, can you hear me?
Judge 1, can you hear me?
Judge 2,
Judge 2,
Judge 3,
Judge 3,
Judge 5.
Judge 5,
I think it's here. Judge 5 can hear. Okay, thank you. Absolutely.
Great.
yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes, he wasn't kidding when he said this is the best food he'd ever seen. That's what you were saying last night at dinner. It was very nice. I'm so glad I don't have to eat again. They're so much better than I was. I was like 15.
Everyone's so good. So
Yeah.
Test, test,
Very-
test, test,
We're trying to.
Well,
test.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
well, this is.
Okay.
I don't know.
Good morning. Okay.
Wanted to tuck this, like unbutton their jacket and tuck it right into your jacket, so it's not hanging.
Oh, good idea. Okay.
So I'm gonna turn around.
I think that's appropriate, and that makes sense.
Judge 4, if you can hear, would you please give us the thumbs up? Thank you. Merci.
I think
Judge 4, can you hear me?
Judge 4, can you hear me?
It was different on the campus. All we had was- That makes more, that made more sense, because they'd already won that district.
All the judges can hear.
Okay, good.
Couldn't bet any of them. Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, the more we can get that, we get the board thinking that way, the better.
He spoke earlier about this week.
Okay. And you might even talk, if you get a chance, talk to Patsy, because she will be chairing the board next year as past president.
Very good.
And I know she supports it. We talked about that very thing last night.
Well, thank you for your
Okay.
comments.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. You too.
I had some perfect.
I feel that.
So, but yeah, good luck.
You too. I'm mic'd up.
Thanks.
Don't do that. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
This is gonna tell the community.
Very funny. I'm gonna. No, I don't need Sprite. I don't want to. I appreciate that.
That should be fine.
Can we make sure all the speakers are up here so we can confirm who you are in the speaking order? So all our speakers come forward.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, yeah, go ahead. All the best. Thank you.
Okay, if we could have everyone take their seats, let's get ready to rumble. While you're taking your seats, I will tell you something that has been pointed out to me, and you probably noticed this, and that is when this contest started in 1928, it was only for boys. And girls didn't join the contest until around 1970. And I think we've noticed a trend here in all of our champions. So I think this is the first time. I think we've made history no matter what else we do from here. So is everybody ready for the contest? Are the sergeants ready? Yeah.
Good morning, Test.
Hey, Speaker A.
Staying optimistic in challenging times. I step onto the stage, my heart is pounding. I survey the audience in front of me and take a deep breath as 10-year-old me begins my very first Optimist oratorical speech. Let's just say I wasn't much of a talker back then. I rushed halfway through my speech and scurried off the stage as fast as my little feet could carry me. And as if my day could not possibly get any worse, the second the first tear trickled down my cheek, click, there it was, our 2-page yearbook spread of my first epic fail. 8 oratoricals and countless years later, I can now appreciate that I had been missing the very first key ingredient to optimism: conviction. If I didn't have conviction in my own work, how could I have expected others to? Many of our world's greatest have faced the same dilemma. Michael Jordan was kicked off his high school basketball team. J.K. Rowling's book was rejected 17 times, and Walt Disney, the Walt Disney, was fired for lacking creativity. Yet in these challenging situations, we tend to recognize that optimism is about far more than just seeing the glass half full. It's about having conviction in your abilities to fill the glass to the brim. Now, the second ingredient to optimism is faith. And this was a lesson that came to me in a rather odd package. It was about 4 feet tall and named Reshma. Now, Reshma was like a pit bull, if a pit bull had 2 braids and a sassy attitude. I had volunteered to mentor a group of Bhutanese refugees that had recently migrated from UN refugee camps. And in Reshma's 7 meager years of existence, she had been persecuted for her religion and literally shipped across the globe. Yet despite living in a community with some of the highest dropout, suicide, and poverty rates in the nation, Reshma had something special. She had faith. She came up to me and she told me that she was going to be president of the United States one day, for universal justice, equity, and ice cream for all. It was clear that her blatant faith had inspired not only me, but her entire refugee community to look forth to a brighter future and a better tomorrow. This set me off on my quest to finally find the third key ingredient to optimism. And funny enough, it came to me during a time period of death, division, and destruction during the peak of the pandemic, when I noticed something peculiar emerge from the chaos. From shows of solidarity and strength came resilience. In the frontline healthcare workers who risk their lives day after day for their neighbors, to the parents juggling work and quarantine children, to the family members praying for sick loved ones, to the community leaders selflessly giving back to relief efforts. I was even proud to finally find resilience in myself when my mother and I gathered a group of our neighbors to simply stitch one mask after the next, until suddenly we had a pile of over 1,400 to donate to the homeless and local public facilities. What this pandemic has taught us is that too often are we disillusioned to believe that optimism is only feasible when there is a clear end to our challenges, while optimism is actually the ability to persist through them, specifically when there is no end in sight. It's about seeing the testimony in the test, the triumph in the trial, the message in the mess. So, standing with conviction, seeing with faith, and living with resilience. These 3 key ingredients to optimism have changed the course of world history over the past few years, but COVID was neither the first, nor will it be the last challenge humanity faces. Every day, we step onto a new stage. Our hearts are pounding. We survey the audience in front of us and take a deep breath as we're faced with the decision. a hopeless end, or an endless hope? The choice, ladies and gentlemen, is ours. Thank you.
Test. Sorry. Test. Okay.
Speaker B.
I first learned the meaning of staying optimistic in challenging times while visiting my mother's birthplace. Water buffaloes trudged through the narrow alleys, herded by a 10-year-old child. Mosquitoes swarmed in the creaky outhouse bathrooms. Murky water sloshed in the open sewer. Growing up as a dark-skinned girl in this rural Indian village, where marriage was the ticket out and fair skin was the currency, my mother knew school was her only chance. Raised by parents who had never finished high school, she fought for her education, propelled by what I like to call purposeful optimism. What do I mean by that? Well, we often use hope as a synonym for optimism. But my mother's journey taught me that staying optimistic in challenging times doesn't just mean hoping that everything will be okay. It means knowing that things might not be okay and embracing the journey anyway. It means believing in our agency to make things better. In essence, purposeful optimism requires 2 steps. First, embracing uncertainty, and second, taking action. Hope is important to optimism, but sometimes it fails us. This is why the first step to staying optimistic is embracing uncertainty, even when we don't get what we're hoping for. One school of thought, Leibnizian optimism, founded by mathematician Gottfried Leibniz, proposes that this world is, quote, the best of all possible worlds, encouraging us to embrace this uncertain world rather than just hoping for a better world. This optimism saves lives. Seriously, a 2019 Harvard University study found that optimistic people live up to 15% longer because they approach uncertainty not with fear, but with curiosity and fascination. After all, as famous physicist Richard Feynman once said, it's much more interesting to live not knowing than to have answers which might be wrong. This outlook pushes us to take risks, sparking incredible discoveries. When we urgently needed a COVID vaccine, scientists didn't just depend on hope. They had to be comfortable enough with uncertainty and failure that they could have the courage to try something completely new. And they did, developing the first ever mRNA vaccines and saving millions of lives. During challenging times, most people tell us to play it safe. But optimists know that being okay with the world not being okay is the way we come back stronger. However, purposeful optimism doesn't stop at embracing uncertainty. The second step is harnessing our own power to act. As author Vivian Green put it, optimism is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. For example, Inky Johnson grew up not knowing when he'd eat his next meal, but he remained optimistic and worked hard, eventually earning a college football scholarship and projected top 30 draft pick. Everything was going perfectly. Until one day, he found himself in the emergency room with a paralyzed arm. His football career was over. This was the most challenging time Johnson had faced. But he didn't just accept the circumstances. He acted on them, building a new career as a motivational speaker. He turned an obstacle into an opportunity. Johnson's purposeful optimism allowed him to not just believe that his life would get better, but to believe that he had the power to make his life better. This autonomy is essential to optimism. After all, isn't the first step to believing in optimism believing in ourselves? Like the vaccine scientists and Inky Johnson, my mother faced many struggles, but with optimism, she finally bought her ticket to the United States. Her story teaches us that we'll thrive through purposeful optimism by first embracing uncertainty and second, taking action. No longer confined to cynical constriction, will catalyze change with optimistic conviction. Thank you.
Test. Okay.
Speaker C.
Today, I'll be speaking about staying optimistic in challenging times. For me, the terms optimism and challenging have taken on a new meaning. For the past 10 months, I've awoken to the same dream. A friend of mine being run over as she walks home. I wake up in sweats thinking, don't worry, it's only a dream, except it's not. On June 6, 2021, my dear friend of 8 years, Yumna Afzal, and her family were mowed down in the street because they were Muslim. Imagine for a moment how challenging it was to process this tragedy. Imagine the challenge of trying to answer my 7-year-old sister's questions about why Yumna was killed or why she will never come over to our house again. Imagine the challenge of simply existing, feeling safe, or trying to move on. I often think about what was going through Nathaniel Veltman's mind in the moments that led up to her death. Those thoughts caused me to feel a sense of despair in humanity. How does one have so much hatred towards people that they don't even know? How does one feel so entitled to run over another human being? For a while, I struggled with how to respond to this tragedy and the ongoing trauma and discrimination that I and my community experience. For me, everything seemed great. I felt empty, sad, angry, and helpless. I, like others who experience challenges, had to make a choice. Do I drown in my sorrow, or do I find hope in a way forward? Oftentimes, the difference between the two is simply a shift in our perspective. The way we choose to see the world is like wearing a pair of glasses. If the lens is tinted with optimism, it colors the world in that tint. And as I experienced, if you wear the lens of despair, then the world too will be colored in that tint. There's an Arabic proverb that says, hope for goodness and you will find it. Instead of feeling helpless, I chose to try on a new pair of lenses. I decided to see the goodness around me and within me. I found hope in what can be, hope in my ability to affect change, hope in the future, and hope in the belief that hate and Islamophobia are just as easily deconstructed as they are constructed if we choose to work together. The truth is, the hate that killed my friend didn't happen in a vacuum. It's the same hate that Muslims experience on a daily basis, whether it's being told to go back to our countries, having our hijabs pulled off, or being physically attacked. Although these are lesser forms of Islamophobia, they are a biopsy of a cancer that continues to grow in our community. My friends and I decided to start an organization to fight Islamophobia called YCCI, the Youth Coalition Combating Islamophobia, which focuses on youth educating youth, as we believe that youth will be the catalyst of change. With the help of our mentors, we have been working tirelessly to bring awareness to Islamophobia. We've created an anti-Islamophobia curriculum package for schools, produced a short film, and organized an interfaith march and vigil in commemoration of June 6th. Through these initiatives, we've been able to give hope to ourselves and to those around us. My friends and I now have a voice, one that we will not allow to be silenced. We've created a new narrative, one that centers strength, compassion, and agency. In us, others have seen the power of positivity and the ability to overcome tragedy in a way that inspires change. Our work has motivated others to join our mission of creating a world free from hate. I'm trying to do my part, and I'm optimistic that others will do theirs. Painfully, I've come to realize that in life, we cannot choose what happens to us, but we do get to choose how we respond. My hope is that my journey towards healing will inspire others to wear the lens of optimism when they too face challenges. Test, test.
Speaker D.
I have not always been good at staying optimistic through challenging times. My stepfather very nearly made me a stone cold pessimist. The dark brutalities and indecencies he inflicted upon me so early in life very nearly extinguished any possible light of optimism. An event from first grade will paint the picture. Early that year, I committed what I thought to be the perfect crime. I cheated on a math test to win a candy bar. There was one boy who beat me almost every time, so this time when we switched papers to grade, I kept a small piece of pencil lead in my hand and made just enough of his answers unreadable that I won the test and the candy bar. I thought everything would go my way until a girl who sat near me told the teacher what I had done, and the teacher wrote a letter home to my parents. As I look back, I recognize how lucky I have been to have resurrected optimism in my heart and soul, and how lucky others are that Optimist International helps them do the same in the face of their adversities. When I got home that day and my stepfather saw the letter, he was not happy, to say the least. He took me to my bedroom and hit me repeatedly until I just lay there and cried. This was the first of many times I was mistreated by that man. It was common for me to be imprisoned in various parts of the house, beaten for poor grades or bad handwriting, or left without food. He forced me to kill my pet mice, as well as other things that I can hardly bring myself to remember. But optimism crept back into my life in the form of an old man, our only neighbor who, for some reason, befriended me. He would always give me whole in-shell pecans, and I would spend hours opening them. As I shelled away, he would tell me stories from his childhood. He was an escape from the darkness, but not the biggest escape. The biggest escape for me was school. Putting that one-time cheating episode in the rearview mirror, I began to apply myself to my education. I learned to read everything from Nancy Drew to Shakespeare. I was never without a book. From the time I was 7 years old, I was always trying to learn about the big world outside of my little one. And slowly but surely, the light from that big world killed the darkness of mine. The knowledge that there was more to life than I had experienced was a comfort that made me optimistic for my future. Thankfully, my stepfather is no longer in my life, and instead, I have encountered adults who have cared for and nurtured me, and I work to spread that care and nurture to those around me. And now, if I ever questioned my new path, I would simply turn to Optimist International. They work every day to ensure others are happy and healthy. Their various scholarships and contests provide students with opportunities they wouldn't receive otherwise. For example, the Optimist Essay Contest earlier this school year, which provides students with a point of focus and gives them the opportunity to look within. Their childhood health and wellness program helps young people just like me, dealing with abuse and any subsequent depression or eating disorders. Clubs have the unique opportunity to use grants however they see fit within their community. For example, the virtual meetings and athletic events held by the Optimist Club of Coronado, California. Here's what I have learned in my journey through the darkest time in my childhood. Gaining and maintaining an optimistic mindset can change one's entire future for the better. One day, the residual memories of my stepfather will fade completely away. But what will never fade is the enlightened optimism born of those dark times. Thank you. Testing, testing, testing.
Speaker E.
Staying optimistic in challenging times. Some might say that staying optimistic is impossible. I believe if we can monitor our subconscious mind, our mental chatter, and where we place our focus, we can make the impossible possible. You have the power to change your thoughts, and your thoughts have the power to change your life. Ron Willingham, your subconscious mind, your mental chatter, can be your friend, but at the same time, it can also be your burden. Allow me to elucidate. There once was a little girl who was born in a third world country. Her parents wished for her to finish her studies quickly so she could prepare for an early marriage. The girl, however, she wanted to claim her identity on her own and travel to Canada to pursue a higher education. But her parents did not support her. And so, in a giant leap of faith, she traveled to Canada all on her own. And it was a struggle. There were days when there wasn't enough food on the table. She was working numerous jobs to keep herself intact. And she was all alone. As the days, the weeks, the months passed that she was alone, she found herself having doubtful thoughts. What if I fail and have to go back? What if this all comes crashing down? What am I doing? But because she was alone, her thoughts were the only source of motivation and comfort for her. Realizing this, she changed her mindset into a more optimistic one. Today, 20 years later, this girl is a woman. She's an engineer, a trailblazer to nonprofit initiatives. And she is my mother. I asked her, Mom, how did you do this? And she told me that she never dwelled on the current struggles, and she instead focused on the future and all the happiness she would feel once her goals were accomplished. This was the fuel she used to propel herself to success. She told me this story when I was only 8 years old, and I didn't know then how much impact this would have on me until just last summer when we hiked up the Lake Agnes Tea House. It's a hike straight up 3.5 kilometers. After 1 kilometer, my legs burned. I was out of breath and almost out of water too. After every few minutes, which felt like hours, I would keep asking, how much further? And every single time I asked, I got the same 2 replies. We just had a break, or it's just a little further. I kept telling myself, there is no way I'm making it all the way to the top. It's just too hard. But then I remembered my mother's story and her resilience when she focused on the future. And with that, I transformed my mindset into a more optimistic one. I imagined the large cup of iced tea I would have at the top, the coldness of its contents chilling me with its icy fingers. It was hard. When I took that final step onto the mountain's top and looked back on what I had done, it was breathtaking. Literally. I felt like a champion. I was a champion of my own battle. To stay optimistic in challenging times, we need to silence the negative mental chatter in our heads and look ahead to the future. You may not be crossing oceans to a new country all on your own or hiking up challenging terrain. But whatever obstacles you have to overcome, whatever challenging times you are going through, staying optimistic can make the impossible possible. We all have mountains to climb, both figuratively and literally. Are you climbing yours with optimism? Test. Okay.
Speaker F.
Staying optimistic in challenging times. One fine sunny day, a big frog and a little frog are out frolicking, and suddenly, oops, they plop into a pail of milk. They swim and they swim and they swim until they're completely exhausted. The big frog wants to give up, but the little frog warns him that to do so is to die. Eventually, the big frog succumbs to his exhaustion, but the little one keeps swimming. And every time he feels tired and wants to stop, he remembers what happened to his friend and desperately starts paddling again. Soon, the milk starts to thicken, and it becomes even harder for little frog to swim. But he perseveres with an iron will and Herculean effort. And finally, his legs find themselves on a mound of creamy white butter. And launching off of that, he hops out to safety. This story, Two Frogs in Trouble, retold by Paramahansa Yogananda, shows us how our attitudes dictate the difference in outcomes under the same circumstances. That between bowing to our struggles versus fighting back with optimism. The big frog, realizing that they're in huge trouble, has little hope for survival and resigns himself to a fate of failure. The little frog, on the other hand, even knowing that he's facing insurmountable odds and is undertaking a nearly impossible task, thinks that it's worth a shot. He perseveres with grit, determination, courage, and optimism, and success eventually follows. Stories like this one are so inspiring because currently we live in an uncertain world. Ultimately, though, we can't control the terrible things that happen, and we don't need to let them define us. We are defined by what we do, what we believe, and how we stand up to our difficulties. Because the truth is, we have no control over the future, no idea what tomorrow brings. The only thing we can do, take life day by day, doing our best and hoping that it all eventually works out. Steve Jobs, for instance, he had no idea what he wanted to do with his life. He dropped out of college, didn't even have a place to sleep at the time. He went to classes that he thought were interesting, one of which was calligraphy, a class which he thought would never have any practical application. Lo and behold, 10 years later, he was using those very calligraphy skills to develop beautiful typography for the first ever Macintosh computer. Later in his life, he was forced out of Apple, his own company, enduring extreme humiliation, betrayal, and the feeling that everything he had worked for was completely worthless. Even so, he kept on, entering what was, in his words, the most creative period of his life. He started companies Next and Pixar, met his future wife, and eventually found his way back to Apple. The skills he gained and the lessons he learned in the darkest parts of his life eventually became the reasons behind his success. The thing is, though, it's so much easier for us to push through when we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But when we can't, when we're in a situation like Jobs, where nothing seems to make any sense, well, then it's about choosing to keep trying, even if it amounts to nothing, to have faith in ourselves and in our abilities, even if we have no external validation. It's to face our problems with courage and strength, with optimism in spite of even the greatest of odds. Staying optimistic in such challenging times isn't just to keep us afloat. It's these moments that forge and define us. Reflecting back on the difficult times in his life, Steve Jobs realized you can't connect the dots looking forward, only by looking backward. Stay hungry, stay foolish. I'd like to close with an excerpt from Rudyard Kipling's poem If, which inspires us to keep our heads high, even in the most trying of times. If you can make a heap of all your winnings and risk it all on a turn of pitch and toss, and lose, and start again at your beginnings, but never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on. And there is nothing in you except for the will which says to them, hold on. Yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Thank you. Test, test.
Speaker G.
Staying optimistic in challenging times. I think something we can agree on universally is that the last 2 years have been hard, and I'm not exactly sure when it's going to get better. But then again, I'm sure I could have said the same thing in 2016 and gotten nearly the same response. Yet we can't seem to help but think that it'll be okay in the end. Like optimism is hardwired into our being. In challenging times, however, it gets harder and harder to focus on the good. When this happens, there are 3 ideas to cling to help you weather the storm: gratitude, acknowledgement, and joy. Let's start with gratitude. Gratitude is a manifold concept with branches coming off, including mindset, expression, and projection. We teach children to say please and thank you at a young age to help shape the way their mindset forms. Life certainly has a lot to be grateful for that's easy to miss if we don't take a minute to look around and give a thank you or two. A sunrise, a shared meal, a listening ear. Little details such as this so easily fall into the monotony of daily life without deliberate effort to notice and take them in. And even this is for naught if it isn't expressed in some way. This could be a note to an acquaintance, an invitation to stargaze on a clear night, or a silent prayer of thanks. I've taken this practice to heart based on recent events in my family. In April of last year, my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer. It was a jarring time for my family, to be sure, but the more we learned about his specific disease, the more we found that it was the best case scenario for something so tragic. He benefits from recent medical advancements and he's well on the road to recovery. Throughout this whole challenge, my family has kept gratitude in the forefront of our minds, and we never take happy moments for granted. The next word to discuss is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement encompasses everything from perspective to grief to growth. It allows us to take in the world around us and balance what our reactions could be. It can be incredibly difficult to slow down enough to have a conscious order to responses. I'd like to share an anecdote to help illustrate what I mean. In September, I was in a 1-car wreck. I'd been on my way to early band practice when 3 deer ran in front of my car and I lost control of the vehicle, sliding off the gravel road and into a tree. My car stopped, then teetered and rolled twice down a hill. My parents came to pick me up and they took me to the ER, where I was labeled level 2 trauma. The doctor there cleaned the glass cuts along my arm and reiterated how fortunate I was to have survived, and without any broken bones at that. The evening of the crash, I went to go see some family friends that had heard the news, and one of them said it probably hadn't set in yet. And he was right. Did you know that rollovers account for only 2% of traffic crashes, but nearly half of traffic fatalities each year? I certainly didn't. True acknowledgement of the good in a situation is not a natural first reaction when something terrible happens. But like the Optimist Club, I've made the choice to be so strong that nothing can disturb my peace of mind. I'm training my mind to acknowledge the good that is nestled in challenging times. The final word to discuss is joy. Joy is a word that I feel is often misunderstood or misdefined. It is not nearly so much of a feeling as it is a choice. This is what so strongly links it to optimism in challenging times. When times get hard, it can seem like joy disappears, but that's simply not the case. Happiness can wane and smiles may fade, but joy cannot be eliminated so easily. joy is more central to a person, helping define them and shape their life. It can also be pretty contagious. We all have that one friend that is just sunshine on earth, and there are moments when that friend seems to lose their spark. In times like these, we choose to be the joy that they've lost. We choose to overcome by remaining optimistic, even when it feels isolating. When my friend of nearly a decade was hospitalized for brain swelling, her smile was what I missed most. But on phone calls, she still had her bright spirit, even when her condition was at its worst. That's joy. She's mastered the lens I try to view the world through, one of unadulterated hope. No one said joy was easy, but it is an unstoppable force to help get you through. Clearly, there are a variety of ways to focus the mind during challenging times. Whether we remain grateful, acknowledge the reality we've been blessed with, or find more joy in our daily lives, optimism will always have a valuable place in the world. The urge to give up can be combated by the decision to remain optimistic. Optimism is like a mindset workout. It can be hard at first, but the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Challenging times bring out the strongest optimism, and in a world where so much seems dreary, I choose to find the good, no matter how hard it gets. Thank you.
Yeah. Speaker H, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can't hear you right now.
Oh. Est-ce que maintenant vous m'entendez? Bon. Okay,
Moi, je peux vous entendre.
OK.
Okay, say something for Speaker H.
Est-ce que maintenant vous m'entendez?
Okay, we can hear you. Can the judges give us a thumbs up if you can hear her? Okay, Speaker H.
Bonjour à vous tous. J'aimerais discuter avec vous aujourd'hui d'un sujet qui nous concerne tous. Rester optimiste dans les moments difficiles. Vous savez, ces moments où nous avons l'impression que tout s'écroule autour de nous. Ces jours-là où les seuls mots qui nous viennent en tête sont misère, pandémie, divorce, déprime, maladie, dispute, catastrophe, faillite, désastre. Devant ce genre de situation, plusieurs questions nous viennent souvent alors à l'esprit. Comment suis-je censée demeurer optimiste? Comment pourrais-je garder un grand sourire quand tout ce dont j'ai envie, c'est de me recroqueviller sur moi-même et pleurer toutes les larmes de mon corps? Comment dois-je conserver ma bonne humeur lorsqu'il ne semble y avoir aucune lumière au bout du tunnel? Interrogation que je tenterai de répondre aujourd'hui en nommant des stratégies et des sources de motivation pour traverser ces épreuves avec le moins de pessimisme possible. Tout d'abord, il s'avère primordial d'accorder le bon niveau d'attention à nos problèmes. Il faut savoir comprendre que ce n'est pas parce qu'un aspect de notre vie pose problème que l'entièreté de notre vie est catastrophique. À titre d'exemple, si vous allez voir une pièce de théâtre et que cette pièce de théâtre est ennuyante ou ne vous plaît pas, allez-vous sortir de la salle en vous disant que le théâtre est la pire forme d'art qui existe? Eh bien non, car vous saurez que cette pièce ne représente pas l'entièreté des spectacles. C'est exactement identique avec la vie. Ce n'est pas parce que des obstacles se présentent qu'il faut se décourager. Au contraire, l'important est de voir ces épreuves comme une façon d'apprendre et de grandir grâce à ceux-ci. Personnellement, j'adore vivre selon le dicton « rien n'arrive pour rien ». Si des épreuves s'imposent sur votre parcours, c'est pour apporter un certain message ou fournir une source d'apprentissage. À mon avis, la base de l'optimisme, c'est ça. C'est de savoir prendre avantage des difficultés et surtout de ne pas les laisser brouiller l'image que l'on devrait avoir de notre vie. Par la suite, il est nécessaire de se munir de stratégies pour faire preuve d'encore plus d'optimisme. Évidemment, c'est déjà un énorme papier que de comprendre l'utilité des épreuves et de leur accorder la bonne attention. En revanche, je crois qu'il ne serait pas de refus d'acquérir certaines astuces pour faciliter l'arrivée de l'optimisme en nous. Première stratégie, rire et sourire le plus souvent possible. En effet, plusieurs travaux de psychologues démontrent que le sourire aurait beaucoup d'incidence sur notre capacité à être positif et affronter les difficultés. C'est en quelque sorte comme si on jouait un tour à notre cerveau. C'est alors très pratique de s'en servir en temps plus ardu. Deuxième astuce, faire preuve de générosité. Effectivement, offrir de son temps et faire preuve de gentillesse s'avère toujours très valorisant. L'optimisme étant un sentiment de confiance, la capacité de prendre les choses du bon côté, être généreux l'accentuera donc forcément. Bref, quand des épreuves s'imposent sur votre parcours, ce qu'il faut faire, c'est simplement continuer de poser tous ces petits gestes de générosité au quotidien. Rendre service à un membre de notre famille, faire un sourire à quelqu'un ou offrir son aide sont des gestes qui aident à rester optimiste dans les moments les plus durs. Parce que créer le bonheur autour de nous est la meilleure façon de démontrer de la joie, même lors d'instants douloureux. Au terme de cette réflexion, pour affronter les moments obscurs tout en faisant preuve d'optimisme, l'essentiel, c'est de s'adapter. C'est d'apprendre à dégager le positif de chaque situation et correctement mesurer leur ampleur. C'est aussi de conserver ses bonnes habitudes et d'essayer de faire le bien autour de soi. C'est de sourire devant l'adversité et de profiter de la belle vie qui nous est offerte, même si elle n'est pas toujours parfaite. En fermant votre écran d'ordinateur tout à l'heure, je vous souhaite profondément de réussir à voir la vie du côté optimiste, même si c'est complexe. Parce qu'à mon avis, savoir voir le bon côté de chaque situation, c'est le plus grand pouvoir que l'on puisse posséder. Je souhaite également que ce pouvoir vous permette de réaliser de grandes choses et de faire sourire un grand nombre de personnes. Merci énormément de votre merveilleuse écoute.
A couple quick comments before our last speaker joins us. Just in case you're curious, all 5 of our judges are not only qualified oratorical judges, but they're bilingual. So they were able to understand this in the French. Our last contestant is from our global region, and it was recorded yesterday morning in South Korea, Wednesday night from here. I do a Zoom call, we record that way. It is 2 a.m. in Seoul right now. So we did not think it was fair to ask a student to give a speech at 2 a.m. or to go someplace, to get her teachers and everybody else out there. So I oversaw this recording. It was a live recording and she did have a small audience. So this is recorded yesterday in Seoul from South Korea, our global champion.
Staying optimistic in challenging times. Everyone today praises optimism for being the perfect tool that guides one's success. Everyone says that optimism is something that we should all obtain because it gives a positive outlook towards experiences, opportunities, and possibilities. Everyone highlights the greatness of optimism. And yes, whilst optimism is surely a gift, it's important that we discuss the rather undiscussed aspects of optimism. Today, we will be exploring both the positive and negative aspects of optimism, especially in difficult and challenging situations. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, optimism is defined as an inclination to put the most favorable construction upon actions and events. Essentially, it's approaching things with a positive attitude. And whilst having such an ideal outlook towards life may be easy during everyday routines, this becomes not so easy in the face of adversity. But interestingly, optimism, when combined with difficult challenges, becomes even more powerful. It becomes a tool that, when wielded well, can give you the best form of outcome. Firstly, and most importantly, optimism during difficult times serves as a big motivator, allowing an individual to persist through the hardship. By staying optimistic and having strong self-efficacy, the individual is much more likely to believe that whatever hardship they are enduring through is worth fighting for. The strongest stimulation of intrinsic motivation is going to tell you and me that we can do this and that we are capable of doing so much more. Secondly, an optimistic approach reduces stress by allowing an individual to experience more pleasure and happiness. This was scientifically proven in a study done by Quebec's Concordia University, which demonstrated that optimists produce less cortisol, which is known as the stress hormone, during difficult times. By not having to worry about trivial things, an optimist is able to directly affect their physical well-being so that they are more satisfied with the process as a whole. The last benefit of optimism is that it strengthens a person's adaptability in new environments. Let's say that you applied for a new office job with new working employees that you don't know and a new working environment that you're not really familiar with. The thought of having to adapt and succeed in your new job may come as a challenging event for many. However, optimism allows individuals to have more confidence and certainty in their actions, and by doing so, they are able to take more risks. For example, an optimist would be much more likely to walk up to a new employee and spark conversation, ultimately allowing them to easily adapt to new areas. As you can see, the benefits of optimism are real. However, everything good comes with its own series of limits and flaws. And in the case of an overly optimistic person, there are certain repercussions that follow. The first negative aspect of optimism is that it's extremely vulnerable. Think of it like this. While optimism may be praised in an individualistic society where everyone's goals and dreams are valued, optimism may be criticized and confused with ignorance in the case of a highly homogeneous society. To be overly confident may give you the title of being arrogant or pretentious. Take the case of South Korea. An optimistic student who wants to pursue art or music as their career would be harshly condemned by their parents and would be called immature, naive, and unrealistic. Korea is an extremely homogeneous society that stresses the importance of taking the conventional route to financial stability. Therefore, even if the student believes that they are capable enough to succeed, it would not be such an easy process to make that into a reality in certain societies like Korea. This ties in with the second negative aspect of optimism. Optimism makes you lean towards grand goals and dreams. And whilst it's important that you have big ambitions that you try to reach, it's also important that you are aware of the realistic limits. We do not live in a utopian society where everyone can do everything. With too much optimism, an individual might end up running a race that would be impossible to finish, and their efforts would never be met with their desired reward. Lastly, optimism becomes dangerous when it consumes the individual. By having so much confidence in our actions, we might end up underestimating the risks and consequences of them. Simply dismissing the downsides is not healthy, as we would never be ready for the worst-case scenarios. The problem with society today is that we have upholded and praised the idea of optimism, yet have created a stigma towards pessimism in all situations. Parents, elders, teachers tell us to always be positive. However, as can be seen by the clear negative effects of optimism that exist, it's important that as a society we understand that optimism is in fact a double-edged sword. And the message that should be emphasized is that we students should be able to create an appropriate balance of optimism, realism, and pessimism. Thank you.
Before they leave for the breakout room, why don't we give the judges a round of applause? Thank you all. We really appreciate you taking the time to judge this contest. So we will excuse you, and then we're going to meet the contestants, and you don't get to. So I apologize for that. But in fairness, we'll let you go to the breakout room, and we will meet the contestants. So let's give all of our finalists a big round of applause. And if you could come forward, please. And then Speaker H, if you could turn your camera back on so we can meet you as well. So come on up. We'll do like we did yesterday. Just come on up in speaking order, and we will have you introduce yourself and make any comments that you'd like to make and any greetings you would like. Okay, that's a good suggestion. I'm gonna put you on the spot first. Let's see, Speaker H, there, you're back with us. Hey, how are you? Bonjour. So before you introduce yourself, just to kind of get to know you, I want to know the last movie you watched or book you read. We'll give you that. We'll give you that. Last movie or book. This is not part of the contest.
Trying to remember.
What? Judge 4, would you please leave for the breakout room? We love you, but we have to introduce the contestants. I'm glad my wife's a civil engineer. She does all the high-tech stuff for me as well. So in any event, if you would tell us that, and then we'll get to know you all a little bit better.
Yeah, so good morning or afternoon now.
That's afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samiksha Gerwar. I'm from Suwanee, Georgia. Today with me here, I have my amazing mother, my dad, and my brother. They are the source of my optimism. I want to give a big shout out to the Forsyth-Cumming Optimist Club. As I mentioned in my speech, they've been supporting me for the last 8 years of my life. That's like almost half my life. These people are incredible. Miss Mullins and all of the amazing people there. Thank you so much for empowering our community so much. The last book I read, actually, we went to Costco yesterday to get gas, and I sat in the cart and read Diary of a Wimpy Kid because they have all those Diary of a Wimpy Kid books set out. So that was the last book I read.
Hi, I'm Mukta Dharmapurikar. I'm from North Carolina, and I really want to thank the Chapel Hill Optimist Club for sponsoring me and for being so kind and supportive and welcoming throughout this process, as well as my family, of course. I think you said it well when you said that they're the source of your optimism, and just always pushing me to do more and to really strive to do my very best. So as well as all the teachers who have always supported me even when in challenging times. So I really appreciate all of you, and for y'all for coming out and watching, and for being such a welcoming audience. I really appreciate it. The last book that I read was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. Would definitely recommend. Very good book.
Hi, everyone. My name's Miriam Al-Sabawi, and I'm sponsored by the Oak Ridge Optimist Club. I'm from London, Ontario. I brought my mom with me today, and she's been a great support system. And even if my dad and siblings couldn't be here, they've been watching through the live stream and supporting me at home. So I really appreciate that. Hi, Dad. Yeah, I'm really grateful for all of you for coming out. And in my opinion, we've all made it so far. We're all winners. So no matter what happens, I'm really proud of all of us. So yeah, thank you. The last book I read, well, I'm currently reading, is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So is it good? Okay.
Hello, my name is Adeline Anderson. I am from Lawton, Oklahoma, Fort Sill area. I would like to thank my family for putting up with all of my academic endeavors, as well as my friend for being here with me. I am currently reading a book called If on a Winter's Night a Traveler by Italio Calvino. It is an older book. It's an analysis of how we communicate, essentially. It's a good book.
Hi, everyone. My name is Afina Zaman. I'm here from Calgary, Alberta. We flew, and I would like to thank all the people on the live stream. So Randy, Chuck, Val, everyone. I'd like to also thank my entire grade 7 class that watched this speech. I practiced in front of them. And I think the biggest thank you I would like to give is to my mom, who is the perfect example of someone with grit, resilience, and she was also sponsored in my speech. She's here with her crutches because she tore her ligament 2 days before coming. We were training for a Spartan race together. So that just shows her dedication. I had to push her around in the wheelchair. So it was fun though. So thank you, Mom. And hi, everyone on the live stream. So the last movie I watched was At Home because I was napping on the airplane. It was about this girl who went on this journey with this pirate to kill this beast, but she ended up being friends with the beast. I forgot the name, but yeah, that's my last movie. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Amrita Chawla. I'm a rising junior. I've been sponsored by the Del Mar Solana Beach Optimist Club in San Diego. And from there, I just want to give the biggest thank you to Mr. John Murphy and Mr. Jim Parrott, as well as Ms. Diana Drummy, who's the district chair. They've answered all my questions, and I've had a lot of questions. And they've just been so supportive throughout it all. I'd also like to give a big thank you to my speech coach, Ms. Kathleen Petrone. She has listened to the speech so many times, so many variations. And also the biggest thank you to my parents and my little brother. They inspire me so much. I wouldn't be here without them. They believed in me when I didn't believe in me. My dad's here with me today. I hope there's no one I'm forgetting, but yeah, I'm just so grateful to be here. Also, just like the biggest thank you to everyone who made this possible, the competitors, the judges, everyone, like all the behind the scenes people. It's just such an incredible opportunity. Thank you. The last book I read, I'm currently rereading the Harry Potter series because it's like the biggest part of my childhood, reading the Half-Blood Prince. So yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Abigail Richner, and I am a recent high school graduate from Warrensburg, Missouri. I am sponsored by the Sunrise Optimist Club in Warrensburg. So big shout out to them. Huge thank you. I'd also like to give a thank you to my junior year language arts teacher who introduced me to this competition, as well as my debate coach who helped me revise and just watched countless performances of this speech and many others. Today with me, I have my parents in the back of the room. A huge thank you to them. They are so supportive of me, and they have been the subject of my speeches for the last 2 years. So appreciate you guys. They're great. And then the last book that I read was Everyone Else is Perfect by Gabrielle Korn.
Speaker H, would you introduce yourself?
Juste avant que je commence, est-ce que vous préférez que je le fasse en français ou en anglais? Do you prefer
Oh,
in English or
if you are comfortable in both, do both.
both? Okay. I'm gonna start in French. Alors, je m'appelle Maïva Giroux. Je viens du Club Optimiste de Mansonville. C'est un petit village à côté de la frontière américaine, proche du Vermont. Oui. So my name is Maïva Giroux. I'm from the Optimistic Club of Mansonville. Mansonville is a little village close to the border, close to the Vermont. J'aimerais dire merci à tous ceux qui m'ont encouragée, tous ceux qui m'ont écouté, tous ceux qui m'ont regardé. Ça a été une expérience merveilleuse. So I'd like to say thank you to all the people who encouraged me and who listened to me. It was a wonderful experience. I really liked it. Et finalement, aujourd'hui avec moi, il y avait des gens devant l'écran aussi. So today with me, there was people on the other side of the screen. Finalement, le dernier livre que j'ai lu, ça s'appelle Le piège du bonheur. C'est un livre qui parle d'optimisme aussi, surtout. J'ai hâte de le finir pour avoir tous les outils que ce livre-là présente. So, the last book I read is Le piège du bonheur. So, yeah, that's it. C'est tout. Merci beaucoup.
Well, thank you, Speaker H, and let's give her a round of applause. Let's give all of our contestants a round of applause, and you can all go back to your seats, and we will, the judges are deliberating, so we will get to that in a few moments as soon as we get the results. But I'd like to call up a few people to tell us just a little bit about Optimist, and we will also be seeing a video from the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation. So why don't we first have Optimist International Foundation President Mark Katz to tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Thanks, Dave. This is the 51st year of the Optimist International Foundation, and the foundation really raises all of their funds through support of our members. And so there are many, many programs where members make donations to the foundation that go into support programs, not only like the Oratorical, but also the essay contest, the communication contest for the deaf and hard of hearing, and really all the programs of Optimist International. The easiest way for our members to donate to the foundation is what's called the Dime a Day program, where they make a contribution of $36.50 that goes in to support the programs. But we have donors that donate less, more. Every penny that we do get does go back to all of the programs of Optimist International. And it's just so exciting to be able to provide the funding for this program. We budget about $65,000 a year just for the regionals and for the finals that we just saw today. And we're just so happy that we're able to do that, and really just happy to be here and support everything. And in partnership with the Canadian Foundation, they pay for the scholarships for any of the winners that have come from Canada. The Optimist International Foundation pays for not only the US and Caribbean, but also for the global competition. And again, just excited to be here. And I'm just glad I didn't have to pick who our scholarship winners are going to be. And so we do want to introduce a video by my counterpart from the Canadian Foundation, Diane Josling.
My name is Diane Josling. I am the president of the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation. In 1991, I joined Optimist International as a charter member of the Optimist Club of Mitchell, Ontario. For most of these 31 years, I have chaired our club's oratorical contest. More than 6 decades ago, I too took part in an oratorical contest held by a different service organization. To this day, that contest remains a memorable, confidence-building experience. So I know firsthand how you are feeling right now. Congratulations to all of you. You have already achieved great success in reaching today's level of competition. This year's topic, staying optimistic in challenging times, is so appropriate given that we are living through a worldwide pandemic. You have rehearsed your speech, presented it to various audiences, and anxiously awaited the results. You have practiced, performed, and persevered. There is a line in our Optimist Creed that fits where you are right now. Promise yourself to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. So again, congratulations on reaching today's level of competition. The scholarships that Canadian contestants earn are made possible through donations given to the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation. Please be sure to thank the members of the Optimist Club that sponsored you. My theme for this year is the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation believes in you. We believe that young folks, such as all of you, have the potential to be great leaders. No matter what happens now, use this experience to enhance your leadership skills. Most of all, use this experience to enhance your character. Again, the words of Christian D. Larson, author of the Optimist Creed, come to mind. Promise yourself to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. On behalf of the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation, our board members, staff, and donors, congratulations and good luck to all of you.
Well, thank you, Diana, and thank all the members and donors of the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation. and the Optimist International Foundation. Without your support, this contest wouldn't be possible, and we appreciate everything that you do. Although she's on the hunt for a second microphone, as soon as she's ready, I'm going to introduce our Executive Director, Cheryl Bren, to talk to you a little bit about the various programs of Optimist International. And
Look at that. You just have to know where the mics are held.
We're actually going to tag team this. Oh, you want us to get in the middle?
This is
What
for the
is it
live
they
stream.
said, go between the lines, right?
Yeah. Look at, we have to.
I'm not
Sorry.
Cheryl Bren. I'm Patsy Garner,
I'm Cheryl Brown.
president of Optimist International. First of all, we're just so glad to have each and every one of you here. And for those of you that are live streaming, thank you for taking the time to support these amazing students, grandfathers, parents, child, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, and teachers, you know, to hear that you've got a whole class of people that are live streaming in and watching you is absolutely amazing. I am excited because as our speaker A, I'll refer to you because I'm sorry, I do not have all your names down yet. Speaking with speaker A and her mom, I am actually excited. I'm going to embarrass her maybe just a little bit. We were actually speaking about the Optimist clubs, as you have all mentioned. And thank you for recognizing the Optimist Club that sponsored you. We were talking about Optimist clubs and she started asking me a question. And as of today, so if Governor Gerald Johnson from Gateway is listening, that is awesome. We have our newest member of the Optimist Club of, what is the Optimist Club? Which one?
Versailles
Cummings, somewhere in Georgia. Anyway, she is joined today. So thank you. Give her a round of applause. And then mom's sitting next to her that's laughing and applauding. I said, well, so are you not a member either? And she goes, oh no, I'm too busy. You're never too busy to be an Optimist
Those are the best members.
So that's the best members, is to be too busy. So if that is something honestly that you're interested in and you have developed that connection with your Optimist Club, please reach out to them. They're always looking for support, whether you become a member or whether you provide some kind of support to the club. They're always looking for that because if our students would not be here, we did not have clubs in our community. I do want to recognize Optimist members that are in the room because it's actually, it is wonderful to have them here and supporting their students and driving from their areas to come and support. So other than, and I say Craig, most of our Optimist members are back there with our judges and working. And then you've met Dave and you have met Mark. If you are an Optimist club that came to support your Optimist member that came to support your student, please stand up and let's recognize you. I think they're on the back wall. So for those of you that are live streamed, there's several that are taking up the back of the wall back in the back. But I'm going to let Cheryl talk for a few minutes about some programs. Cheryl's new and she's learned a lot about our organization. And then I'll follow through as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Let me just echo Patsy and to say thank you for being here. Thank you for watching from home and supporting these amazing students. You know, the mission of Optimist International's by providing hope and positive vision. We bring out the best in youth, the best in our communities, and the best in ourselves. And that's really what we want to be able to do around the globe, not just in North America and the Caribbean, but really around the world. And this is an organization that has been around for over a century doing just that. I think you will all agree that we have brought out the best in some of these kids. Like, this is amazing. And this isn't the only program we offer. So we do have some scholarship programs that additional to this. Our foundations are incredible supporters of those scholarship programs. They're all around communication. So we do have an essay contest. We also have the communications contest for the deaf and hard of hearing. Sometimes I have to remember what the acronyms mean. But we also have a wonderful youth program, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, although I will assure you I am not the expert on it. The experts are Josh and Amy, and that is joy. our Junior Optimists International. That is an incredible program that allows you as young people to really explore your own service and volunteer commitment, look at your communities. I've already heard some of your stories about the things that you are doing. This is also an avenue for you to connect with other young people, to amplify your voice and your commitment to your communities. So if that is something that you are interested in, please let us know. We can connect you to a local Joy Club, or we can help you get one off the ground and work with our Optimist clubs, because that is the future of our organization. Each and every one of you are actually the people who will make a difference. You know, all of us who stand here in leadership roles, I'm just so inspired by what is coming, you know, behind you. And I think if we can follow that. So we also have actually going on right now.
Actually, before you move on with that, I do want to announce also this table is like full of so kind of energy over there. And evidently they knew about the Junior Optimist, because they are wanting to start a Junior Optimist club as well in their community with the students that have participated. So
snaps for that.
The rest of the tables, you're going to have to step it up. You know, let's get that going as well. But anyway, thank you for reaching out about that as well. So they're pursuing that.
We have an incredible program happening right now, actually in Miami as well. So all of you who are just so outstanding in your communication skills, we have kids who are outstanding in their golf skills, and our World Championship golf tournament is happening down in Miami. We'll have 600 or so kids come through that between last week, this week, and next week. In fact, I'm not particularly a golfer per se yet. Well, some of them are. We had a young lady, 11 years old, out of Thailand, win the girls division this last weekend. And not only did she win the girls division, she got the lowest score out of all 3 divisions, including the 2 boys divisions.
She shot a 16 under. If y'all know what that is, that is like
who are the golfers
absolutely
in the room?
Amazing.
Yeah,
there you go.
16 under par. Yeah, on her last round.
And we had another young lady that participated in our contest here yesterday, and she was probably the youngest, I think, competitor we have. That was 11. If you remember her, the little cute. Oh, was she? There she is. She's still back here. Yes. And we were sharing the golf, and she said, I'm a golfer. I do junior golf too. So that is something else for her to strive for.
We got all kinds of opportunities for your family.
So many opportunities out there. Absolutely. Yeah, Mark and I, actually, Mark is heading straight to Miami from here. I'm going back to DFW tonight so I can see my dogs, and then I'm heading out tomorrow to Miami to spend the next 8 days there in Miami with the junior golfers. So it is a fabulous program. My husband just sent me a text, and it was very interesting. He says he's already there marshaling on the course, and he said, well, here's my day. He said, I just got a young lady disqualified. How's your day going? And I said, a whole lot better than yours is. So, but it's a great opportunity if you know somebody that inspires to seek that level of competition through their junior golf program. So, Cheryl?
So, and I just also want to acknowledge that we have over 2,000 Optimist clubs here in North America. And every day they are doing impact projects and really making their communities better. And supporting those efforts is important. It's important to all of us, but also supporting our foundations. It's important. We can make the world better by just taking simple actions, right? And I know everyone's busy. Who's not busy? But you want something done? Ask a busy person to do it. So that's how we get things done. So we do have a variety of programs that we can offer both youth and students. And we're just about to launch, or just soft launched actually, our Optimist Institute, which is going to be open to some individuals, and gives you more, it's an online campus, and it gives you opportunities to be motivated, educated, and informed, and maybe a little bit of uplifting content to help you start your day. So those are things that we're working on from Optimist International.
Absolutely. And you know, our clubs, and are we ready? We don't have a
Okay.
decision.
I
We're
saw the
still-
activity.
we're-
I was good.
He's standing here, so we're still, are we? That is okay. So we can finalize, they recommended a break. So that is absolutely perfect because I think we all need that break as well. But again, Cheryl mentioned earlier about the scholarships that come from our foundations. Our clubs in general, not just the scholarships from the foundation, but from our Optimist clubs, give out millions of dollars a year to the students in their communities. So again, if that's something that you need and are seeking, reach out to your Optimist Club and find out what those opportunities are. Sometimes they're not as well promoted because for some reason as optimists, we like to keep things in-house instead of spread it around the world. So please reach out to your Optimist Club and find out what those opportunities are. Again, thank you all very much for being here. Optimists, thank you for being optimists. Thank you to all of the people that are behind the stage that are doing phenomenal work to make this happen. And we'll recognize them. Thank you to our senior directors. I'm going to embarrass them. They're sitting up there watching this entire thing happen. So that's part of our staff up there. So thank you very much for being here and supporting us all. And thank you all for coming out. And we'll take a 5-minute break. 10-minute. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll see you all back in 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If everybody could take their seats, we have the decision of the judges, or as we say in my profession, the jury is back. So take your seats if you would, please. Well, I see we have our judges back. So hello, judges. Why don't you unmute yourself? And I'd like to have each of you introduce yourselves. And I'll just call on Judge 1.
Hi, my name is Monique Lebel-Ducharme. I'm retired from the Government of Canada, grandmother to 5 wonderful little ones. I congratulate all the contestants today. What a wonderful job you all did. And it was a privilege, I have to say, to listen to all of your speeches. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Judge 2.
I think he has left.
Judge 2 has left, but I think I just heard our timekeeper. So why don't we meet our timekeeper in place of Judge 2? Who are you?
Bonjour, you know me very well. My name is Anne Richer Doyle. I'm honored to be a member of this great team that has offered you, the participants, the World Oratorical Championship today. Et un grand merci à tous les membres du jury qui n'ont pas eu la tâche facile. I'm really glad that I wasn't the one to make the decision today, because it was a challenge to have to decide who the winners are. And to all the talented youth, you have given great orations, and I thank you. I surely hope to see you soon joining the ranks of Optimist International, because I do think that we would all benefit from having you with us. À tous les membres optimistes qui ont organisé les concours, je vous dis merci.
Qui ont fait de cette organisation ce dont elle est aujourd'hui. Je les remercie
I've
pour
organized the contest at different levels for more than 30 years.
Sans plus tarder, regardons la vidéo.
Hello everyone, it's Sophie Chanel Bourré, your 2020-2021 Junior Optimist International President, under the theme Shooting for the Stars of Optimism.
Well,
I'm creating this following video.
we have some technical challenges. We'll just hold on a second.
All the past presidents that made this organization what it is today. I thank these amazing leaders for all their work, and where they are at today, I'm sure they're doing great things. Thank you everyone, and let's watch the video.
Well, that was unusual. Okay, back to Anne.
So we've heard from many participants that such a competition has been beneficial for them at all the levels that they've participated here. And for Francophones in a minority situation, the impact of this contest goes way beyond personal development. For me, it is a way to demonstrate ma fierté en tant que franco-ontarienne. Et je sais que c'est comme ça pour tous les participants franco-ontariens, francophones qui ont participé. Alors, merci. Thank you for all the donors. As you know, I'm the president-elect of the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation, and I wish to thank every one of the donors. You make this scholarship program possible. Merci à tous les donateurs. Over, back to you, Dave.
Merci beaucoup. Well, thank you, Anne. And I think everybody needs to know, whether online or here, that Anne is the timekeeper for each and every one of the regional contests and then the finals. So, Anne, thank you so much, because we are optimists. We're here to serve. So thank you. Now here's somebody I recognize, Judge 3.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Dave. My name is Sarah Warner, and I am a judge on the Kansas Court of Appeals with Dave Bruns. So it's lovely to be here, and I just want to say that all of the speakers today were fabulous. And how exciting is it that we had all of these women who are just powerhouses and are going to go out there and change the world. So, je vous remercie et vous êtes magnifique. Thank you.
Thank you. And get back to work. Judge 4. Judge 4 with us? If not, we'll move on to Judge 5.
Hi, everyone. My name is Philip Arfali. I work in communications for a global investment group, but before I was a reporter for about 15 years. It was truly an honor to be a judge today, and you have not made it easy for us to evaluate you because everyone was just so excellent. Vous devriez être très fiers de ce que vous avez accompli. You should be very proud of what you've accomplished, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. And I think Judge 4, you're back with us now. So Judge 4.
Yes, my name is Clinton Archibald. I'm a retired university professor in public policy and public ethics, but I still keep teaching.
Well, that is a great thing to do. So let's have a round of applause for all of our judges. And let's see, Speaker H, could you please turn on your video and unmute just so we know you're with us. Yeah, you're still there. Okay. Now I would like to reintroduce President Patsy and President Mark, who will be announcing the winners. I will be serving in the role of Vanna White, and I will be handing the trophies out, and they will be presenting the checks. So you want to come over here so everybody can see you?
Again, what a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful day that is. We can drag this out as long as we want. Y'all can just sit there and enjoy this, or we can we can provide some scholarships for you. Again, each and every one of you, congratulations for being here. Each and every one of you that participated at this level is going home with $7,500 in college scholarships to further your collegiate opportunities. So give yourself one round of applause right now for every one of you that were here. That being said, I get to open the envelope. Don't they do that at the Emmys? They throw the envelope behind them. Open the envelope and I get to read the winners. And we will start with our third place recipient. And it will be the recipient of another $5,000 scholarship, of which Mark has that actual check in his hand right now. So that goes to third place, $5,000 goes to Speaker H, Maeva Giroux. If we could do this right and present this to you, we'll make sure that you get this. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our second place winner of $10,000 scholarship goes to Speaker I, Rin Choi from South Korea. Oh, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning there, so I don't think Renjoy is joining us, but I'd wake up for that too, most definitely. All right, now we're here to announce our first place. The good part, it's going to be somebody in this room, right? So the winner of the World Oratorical Championship, first place, recipient of a $15,000 scholarship is Speaker A, Samikshu Gatwar. Congratulations, Samita. Hold on, my name's on that check.
Why don't I do that? I'm gonna get you in the middle. And you all scoot down a little bit. Scoot down right about here. And you in the middle. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Dave, I'll turn that over.
Okay. Yeah, letters there. The whole list.
Yeah. That's a future mark down.
You can't see your trophy. There it is. All right. Really big smile. Congratulations to all of our finalists, and I'm sure, yes, I don't know, Will. And I'm sure you're not afraid of public speaking. So is there anything you'd like to say? Are you going to Disney World?
I'm going to college. My speech was about this, but I've been doing this contest every single year since I was 10 years old. I've grown up with my local Optimist club, and this contest every single year throughout middle school, throughout high school was always such a moment of self-reflection for me, and how every year I would get a little bit farther, but not quite there. And kind of being here has helped me realize that, you know, optimism is real. You know, I've been trying for the past 8 years, and 8 years later, I finally achieved my goal. And that's just so crazy to me, and it's kind of a lesson I will carry for the rest of my life. So thank you so much for allowing me to have this journey for pretty much my whole life. So
Well, once again, congratulations. Congratulations to your parents and supporters. Congratulations to all our finalists and all of the coaches, parents, supporters. Thank you to all our professional staff. Thank you to the foundations. Thank you to all our Optimist International members that are here. We just appreciate everything you do. And let's give one last shout out to our two co-directors, Dr. Sunny Fridge and Dr. Diana Carlin Perrin. Please participate in other Optimist programs, and also make sure that you encourage others to get involved into this contest. Because of you, we are building a better future. Thank you all. See you next year.